There we go. Hey, that's let me see. Oh, my God, this thing is. Let's see. All right, I'm trying to. I'll be trying to use my gimbal, but this thing. I don't know what's going on with this thing? Because I want to be shaking and shit. But you know what? I'm gonna put this thing right back in my pocket. Hold on. Enough of this shit. I'm gonna have to get some more practice with this stupid thing. I ain't comfortable with it at all. What's going on? Get my morning exercise in. I done already did about 15 hills. Had a chance to talk to my twin sis. So say what's up. Nice little out here on the football fields close to my home. But had to get some exercise in. Was gonna go hit some balls, but I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and walk. And you can see these are nice hills over here, so you can get it in. But but so we got two games in the books right now, and you got Eagles. We pulled out a win. We survived that mess because it was messy with the Cowboys. And if you was on my stream last night, you heard had a couple Cowboys fans in, and just for clarity, I don't mind Cowboys fans coming in. I don't mind any fans coming in because I got friends with everybody. Uh, somebody just put in my comments said Queen Latifah had the flavor unit because we was talking somehow we got on the subject of classic hip hop last night. We was all over the place last night, but in any case, um, yeah, I don't mind when fans of other teams come in my chat, join the show. The more the merrier. You know, y'all know my motto. Um, just keep it 100 and leave the toxic on the bench, man. As long as you don't come in with that nonsense, we good to go. We can talk the talk. So, but we survived that. We 1-0. And at the end of the week, half the teams in the NFL won't be. And we are one of the ones who are. You saw what happened with Kansas City last night. Kansas City struggling. They got injuries. They getting banged up. Uh, who was that? Xavier Worthy got banged up. Had to pop his shoulder back in. So I would imagine he might miss a week or two. Um, but and then heck, and this is something. No, I can't say that. I can't say that. I was gonna say this is something that I never thought I would see with an Andy Reid team, but that's not true. Because I remember, was it last season or the season before, where Travis Kelsey got into that yelling match with screaming at Andy Reid on the sideline. So they have had situations where they've had outbursts and things of that nature on the sidelines. You just don't think about it because they won the Super Bowl for a couple of years, and when you win like that, that erases all the warts. That people don't think about all of the BS that was going on the sideline. But you saw you saw Chris Jones, and I don't know who that I forget who the it was a it was a cornerback number 23. I forget what his name was. Him and Chris Jones was going at it, and you rarely see that from the Chiefs, especially on the field on camera. Good morning. So it was very interesting, and they lost, and they lost. So um, we got our issues too, because Eagles fans want to be the first ones to say that would never happen on our squad. Well, we only had arguably the best defensive player in the league get kicked out on some dumb shit. So sometimes it happens. Um, I was talking to my wife last night, and of course she got the same question everybody else asking: Why would he do that? Why would somebody do that? And I was trying to tell her, Like sometimes people just do dumb shit. That's the answer. There's no build up. When you that electrically charged and emotionally charged right before a game, you ain't even taking the first snap yet, and your teammate is back there on the ground getting carted off the field. It's it's a mix of emotions, and you know you gotta be ready for that. You gotta be ready for it. I'm walking down this hill, so if I start moving fast, or if I fall on my ass, don't yeah. But you gotta be ready for that type of stuff, and you gotta be able to hold it together and still be able to function as a team. And stuff like that is gonna happen every week. So, but for the most part, we've been good. We got it done. Um, I do not think the Cowboys would have had as good a game as they did if Jalen Carter was on the field. But woulda, coulda, shoulda don't do nothing but rhyme. He wasn't. It took Vic Fangio a minute to get it together, but we got it together. We outscored the Cowboys 3-0 in the second half, but that three was all you needed. So sometimes it don't look the way you want it to look, but it is what it is. So we got to get ready. We got some situations that we got to handle. Vic Fangio's got some decisions that he's got to make. Look at this hill. I want y'all to see this hill. Look at that hill. Ain't that nice? I go to football field over there. I got a nice hill on the side. It's perfect. Not too far from the house. Get a nice little workout in. You got all them trees up there. Get in the shade if it gets sunny out. Like this is the perfect spot. In the wintertime, if it snow, this is where you coming. Get the sleds out. Have a lot of fun. So, but I'm gonna try to walk backwards back up this hill. So, whew. But in any case, but yeah, we got it done, and now we can forget about it. I keep hearing. I watched Sal Palantonio on Dan Patrick's show this morning. Um, Sal Pal didn't think that Jalen Carter would get suspended. Um, I kind of what I said from the rip, but if he does get suspended, I understand because I told you in them competition meetings, that's the kind of stuff that they don't want. They do not want that whatsoever. So if they can make an example out of Jalen Carter, they're gonna damn sure try to do that. But we'll see. There hasn't been anything official yet. Uh, at the time of me turning this thing on, so I don't know. So we'll find out. But I think they might hit him for like 40 or 50 grand. I wouldn't be surprised. And don't be surprised if Dak Prescott, if that costs him a little money too, but that's water under the bridge for him. Dropping the bucket. He ain't missing nothing. So, all right, I'm gonna walk in these trees for a little bit to make it look like I'm in the forest. So, so we'll find out probably today or tomorrow what's gonna happen. But I guarantee you, the, not even the Eagles. I mean, let alone the Eagles, but the NFL does not want a situation like that to be the headline for week one. And to be honest with you, that's the only reason I think that the possibility of him getting suspended is pretty good, is pretty high. Because you embarrass the league, you embarrass the shield, and they don't play around that shield, man. They don't play with that money. So that's shit. They don't even want you to. They still find you if you don't pull your socks up all the way. And you spitting on somebody, yeah, they're gonna tap that wallet pretty good. So, but like I said, we'll find out what they're gonna do. Hasn't been anything official yet, but I'm sure we'll be finding something out sooner or later. But in any case, for us, the Philadelphia Eagles and its fans, we are on to week two, right? So we got a lot of extra time to prepare. We have the benefit because Kansas City was in Brazil, and that travel is a bitch. Don't get it twisted. I remember, um, I'm going way back. Let's go in the Let's go on the way back machine, right? I remember my rookie year in '93. We damn, I can't even think straight. When was it? Oh, my rookie year in '93. We went to Tokyo. We went to Tokyo, Japan, and the Eagles played the Saints in the Tokyo Bowl. So we flew over there, and that travel is not fun. That travel was 18 hours on the plane, and you talking back in 1993. We ain't had no, we ain't had no iPods, no iPhones, no game systems. We ain't had none of that. All you had was that 2-inch thick book of CDs, and we was on that plane for 18 hours. We beat the Saints, but the travel back to Philadelphia was a bitch, and jet lag is real. So, and I say all that to say the Chiefs are gonna have a time getting their stuff together. They're gonna grit and bear it and grind their way through it. But that fatigue sticks with you for a while. So I would imagine that when they get back stateside, they're not gonna do too much practicing next week. It's lucky they got the Friday game, so they got all. They're probably gonna take off all the way till next Wednesday. So, but that fatigue is no joke, man. So, and I'm saying that meaning that we gonna have the advantage of that. So we played on Thursday. We get the extra rest as well, and we didn't have to go halfway across the world. So, um, but we'll see. We shall see. Whew, turning around, going the other way. Damn, hands is tingling now. So, how many people get on the chat? We got 23 people on the chat. That's what's up. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe. So, but so yeah, we got it done. We got it done, and get ready for number two. The issues that we have to work on, right? Obviously, CB2. I trust that Vic Fangio is gonna handle that. Shouldn't have any problem with that. But everybody said it. Adoree Jackson. They didn't like him in camp. They didn't think he should be a starter. Some people even went as far as to say they didn't think he should have made the 53. But he did. We in the situation we in, and we got to deal with it. Next man up. And y'all heard me last night. Like I said, I'd have been better off with Keely Ringo. Um, but you know, again, I got supreme confidence in Vic Fangio to make that decision. But they got to do something at CB2. Hopefully, Jacorian Bennett is at NovaCare right now getting film work in so he can be ready to play because, yeah, Adoree Jackson was not good. I'm sure he has had good games. You don't make it this far in your career in the NFL and not be good at something. So, but maybe that time is done. I don't know. Did he look as bad as James Bradbury did? No, he did not. But that's not saying much. Um, and I'm talking about James Bradbury from 23. So, because 22, James Bradbury was solid. But so I don't know. I'm expecting him to make that decision. And we probably won't see it until they start practicing next week. We probably won't see anything or they won't say anything until next Wednesday. So, it is what it is. But we'll get it. I trust Vic Fangio to make that decision. As far as the offense and what they did to AJ Brown, expect to see that against everybody until we show that we can stop it. So expect that match coverage and sliding people over so you can get doubles on AJ Brown until the Eagles and Kevin Patullo show that they can stop it. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Um, I don't want this. I don't want Jalen Hurts to have to force the ball to AJ Brown. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, you want to hit the open man, but don't force it. Even that play where he got AJ the ball, Devontae Smith was open right in front of him, and he could have got hit Devontae, and Devontae would have had 10 to 15 yards of free running before somebody came to see him. So uh, don't press it, but I understand. I understand. I still say, even with last year and the year before, the as far as the Eagles go, in my opinion, They first, even with Saquon, the first play should always be a quick slant to AJ Brown because he can break tackles. He can make a 5 to 6 yard pass turn into a 20-yard game. He's got that type of power. So, um, and I'm still not liking. I will be. I should have a chance to watch some tape today. I got to see what the college schedule is because I'm gonna be watching some college games too. But I will break down some tape today. I might break down some tape live uh, because I want to see how they were covering AJ. Um, I'm getting into trying to get better and better at looking at coverages and recognizing coverages because I'm just not good at it. And I haven't studied film like that in a long time because, when I'm looking at film, I'm looking at specific things. I would look at what running backs do. I'm looking at the offensive line, things of that nature. But I got to get better at recognizing and understand what the defense is. And, if you just got to study. That's why I like to study film. So I'll be hitting up my guy Baldy and Barrett Brooks and Greg Cosell looking at some of their stuff. And even Murph. I love that dude Murph, man. He knows his stuff as a scout. Love people that know more than me about the game because you can always learn something. Don't nobody know everything. So, but yeah, Alex, the time zone might be the same in Brazil, but that trip, bro. Whew, I always remember, like when I was saying I went to Japan, uh, that was an 18-hour flight, right? I went to sleep for 6 hours on the plane. Woke up and had 12 more to go. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So, yeah, but uh, but yeah, we'll get it done. We'll make the necessary adjustments. I think the big thing right now is everybody's kind of on pins and needles to see what's going to happen with Jalen Carter. And I know the NFL, they want to announce what's going to happen quickly because the quicker you announce it, the quicker people will stop asking what's going to happen. So it'll not be in front page news. And that way the news cycle will end next week when he plays. Because when he gets back on the field, that's the first thing everybody's going to bring up. So they're only going to bring it up again if when we get to the next game, because it'll be like, yeah, Jalen Carter got himself kicked out of the game, so they're going to review what happened. We all know that's going to happen. And looking in the future, if something stupid like that happens again, because now, very similar to what happened with Derek Barnett, he'll have that label on. He'll have that label on. So, and if he has that label on, that'll be the lead story and what they will always talk about. That'll always be a topic of conversation. So, um, it is what it is. Um, Jalen Hurts played well. That I'm going to look at him when I look at the tape of the quarterbacks. I like to see number one, how much time did he have in the pocket, and I got to get that ready. I know I got that from my old video. I can put it on there again. It's like a timer, so you can tell when he gets the ball in his hands, how much time did he have in the pocket, and when he gets his drop, if he's doing a 3-step drop, if he's doing a 5-step drop, when he gets to the top of his drop, pause it, and then you got to look at the all 22 and then see what the secondary was doing. So when it gets to the top of his drop, 5-step drop, you pause it. You see where the linebackers are. You see what kind of coverage. Are they in cover 2? Are they in cover 3? Possibly in quarters. Like you don't know what the situation is. So, but at least a couple times, you know, first thing everybody says is, why isn't he getting the ball to AJ Brown? Well, AJ Brown is setting. You got a linebacker in your line of sight before you can throw the ball. Don't throw the ball. That's simple. So, Jalen made good decisions. He made smart decisions. He didn't turn the ball over. So Dak should have had 2 picks. We should have had 2 picks on Dak. Two. And our secondary, man, we got an opportunity to get that ball in our hands. We can't blow that. When the defense gets the ball in their hands, Leon Mitchell Dropped another pick, hit him right in the hands. Dropped another pick, hit him right in the hands. So we got to start taking advantage of that because I know when he's in film session and looking at that, oh, he got to be shaking his head because you got to make the most of those opportunities. That's the difference between you being, a first team All Pro and the Pro Bowler and just a guy. You know what I mean? So I need Quinyon to he need to do some drills with the wide receivers or something because we got to catch them balls, man. That's crazy. We got to take advantage of that. So, but yeah, we'll watch some college games today. Uh, see if Arch Manning can recover from his embarrassment against Ohio State. You know, and don't be surprised if he has a crazy game today. They playing against San Jose State, so I don't know much about San Jose State. I think they're playing San Jose State, but uh, the hype train continues, right? So then we got Zadarius Smith coming in town. Can't wait to see him in uniform and see what he can do. Uh, so it'll be good to go, man. So Zadarius Smith was a good get. Zadarius Smith was a good get, and I am looking forward to seeing him and Jalen Carter on the field at the same time. That's the thing. And shout out, I ain't talk about it much last night. Shout out to Jordan Davis, man. Jordan Davis played his ass off. So just look at what Jordan Davis did last night and just imagine if Jalen Carter would have been there. Because Jordan Davis all of a sudden was taking on all those double teams. And you know what? As big as he is, he's supposed to. So, but Jalen Carter lets everybody else eat and they can't stop him. So great game last night by Jordan Davis. Big man, he got it done. He got it done. Shout out to him. So, uh, so yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So we got and what else did I have on my docket today? Jalen Carter, Darius Smith. Was it? Oh, I know. Listen, I've been so hot and heavy with the NFL stuff. I ain't really done anything with the WNBA in almost 2 weeks. I done put out a couple like little shorts, but it's been some crazy stuff happen. Caitlyn Clark is out for the season. She officially announced it. I don't know why everybody mad. They could have told us earlier. No, they couldn't have. That would have been stupid. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They about making money. Make that money. I ain't gonna get mad at them for that. Um, so we know what that is, and they still might make the playoffs, man. My homegirl Kelsey Mitchell, that girl is on something right now. And she is getting it done, and she's finally getting the recognition that she deserves because the star is on Indiana, and she is showing out. So I still think they have enough gusto to get to the playoffs. And then, it's just unfortunate what happened with Caitlin Clark. It bees like that sometimes. Injuries are part of professional sports, and you gotta deal with it. So so we'll see what's gonna happen next year. It's gonna suck though, because they're gonna have it's gonna be a work stoppage. So to be honest with you, you don't know when you're gonna see Caitlin Clark on the court again for the WNBA. But it ain't gonna be no time soon until they get all of this CBA stuff worked out. And that's gonna be a whole nother set of circumstances in itself. And they gotta in my opinion, I don't think the Players Association has really done a very good job. Like, this ain't high school. T-shirts ain't gonna cut it. You make your point when you sitting at the table negotiating. And quite honestly, and again, this is on the outside looking in, and this is just my opinion. It seems like they don't have experience negotiating. You can say what you want, and I've said this before. You can say what you want about what we want as a group or the players. That's what you're supposed to do. However, this is also a negotiation. This is also a quid pro quo. This is also, if you want this, you got to give up that. That's what a negotiation is. And I don't think they're going about it like that. They're going about it like we got all the leverage and you going to give us what we want. They would pay us what you owe us and the t-shirts and all of that kind of stuff. You going to pay me what you owe, Santa, as Riley Freeman said in the Boondocks. But that ain't how you do it. And they are not going to get everything they want from this deal. It's not going to happen. So the question for me becomes, what are they willing to give up? If you want your salary to be this high, there's something on the back end that you got to give up. Maybe your insurance or benefits if something goes down. Like it's going to be a tit for tat. So, and I think that's where they're making a mistake because the owners are just not going to give you whatever it is that you want. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So we'll see how that goes. And the other thing was the whole situation with Angel Reese. She got she got suspended from the league because she had 8 technical fouls. Right? That was the first. So that's why she didn't play last night against Indiana. Then Indiana suspended her for half a game because of what she said about her teammates. And I read what she said. I need to see a. I need to see a. Did she? I need to see if she said it like at a press conference or something, or like I need to hear the context of how she said it. Because I read what she said, and here's the problem. She, the problem was she ain't wrong. The other part of that is just because you can say something don't mean that you should. And for you to be the quote unquote leader of a team, um, you can't do that. That's one of those situations where you got to let the ownership do what the ownership does. That ain't your call on who they bring in. And I think that's where she got it mixed up. Because in my opinion, there have been a lot better players than Angel Reese in Chicago. There have not been a lot better players in with that type of profile in the W. Gabby Williams didn't nobody really know who she was until the Olympics happened. I think, in my opinion, the ladies from the W, they get mixed up about their hardcore fans that the every 24/7 fans that always come to the games, that always tune in. Those are not the people that's making the money. I made this point last year. The WNBA is looking for people like me. You know, Next year will be my 3rd year as a WNBA fan. I didn't watch the WNBA that much before. I watched, you guys know I've told this story before. I started watching the WNBA to support Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell is from my hometown. She went to my high school. Her father, who had just passed away not too long ago, was a very good friend of mine. He was my fraternity brother at Eastern Kentucky. He was my football teammate at Eastern Kentucky. He was responsible for me going to Eastern Kentucky. So Kelsey Mitchell is personal to me. I've never met Kelsey Mitchell because when Big Mark had his family, I was in Philadelphia and I didn't get a chance to get home much. So when I did get home, I would see Mark somewhere, Mark and his wife, but I didn't really see his kids, so I didn't really know his kids like that. But Kelsey Mitchell, that's why I followed the start of watching WNBA. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's my homeboy's daughter right there. I'm gonna support her. So she broke all them records at Ohio State, and then you know, and then what happens is when you're the top draft pick in your league, you go to the worst team. Indiana was not good. And last year, I thought it was funny. They asked her, "How do you feel about being in the WNBA playoffs?" And she was like, "I don't know. I've never been here before." And that was last year. That was her 6th year, I believe. This is her 7th year. So at least she got a taste of what it takes to get to that next level. I'm glad she had a chance to experience that. I wish they could have gone further instead of getting bounced out in the first, but we'll see what they do this year. They got a pretty good team with and without Caitlyn Clark. So they got to make some moves, and I hope they can make some noise because what I've seen of the W thus far, anybody can get got. Ain't no dominant teams. Asia is playing dominant right now. Alyssa Thomas is playing dominant right now, but even they getting beat. Minnesota getting beat. New York getting beat. So to me, it's a wide open race. Ain't nobody a lock, as they like to say. So we'll see. And then as far as Angel Reese, what she said, like I said, just because you can say it don't mean that you should. And sometimes you need to keep that type of stuff to yourself for the simple fact that you got to go back in the locker room and look at them people face to face. That's her problem right now. She got to go back in that locker room. And I saw she had the thing where she apologized for what she said and all that kind of stuff. But that's small potatoes. When you had to go back in the locker room and you got to look your teammates in the eye and say, I apologize for what I said. I didn't mean it like this. Because then the question is, well, how did you mean it? Because everything you say has a direct effect on us and my paycheck. And that's how you got to look at it when you're talking about professional sports. Everything that you say in the media, you give an interview, you jump on a podcast, everything you say has a direct effect on somebody else. Because there have been times in the past where primetime players or the most visible player on a team will say, I'm not playing with that person. I'm not going to do that. So, I don't know. Chicago ain't making the playoffs anyways. So, but with Chicago, it'll be very interesting to see if they keep Jeff T. He's the one that needs to go. But if he goes, who's going to replace him? And if they replace him, realistically, what moves can they make now that would help that situation? Because he got him in the bind. They traded their draft picks when they traded Marina Mabry, I think it was. Um, they're not in a good spot. They're not in a good spot at all. I don't think Tyler Marsh is as good as they hoped he was. He struggled. Lineups. I think they lost on Haley Van Lith. Hopefully they might. I don't know what draft picks they got next year. That's the other issue. So you got all of this talent coming out. Um, Next year you got. I'm trying to think. Next year you got Olivia Miles. You got Lauren Betts. You got I know it's another senior. I'm forgetting. Kiki Rice. So you got some good primetime players coming out for the W next year. What are they going to do? What are they going to do with the picks they don't have? And that's going to make them even worse. Because now, if let's just say, who, here's the bottom line: who wants to go to Chicago? Why would any veteran want to go to Chicago and play? Why would any veteran want to go and play with Angel Reese? That's the question you want to ask. So the one good thing that they're gonna figure out, and the other players, if they play their cards right, I mean, I say it like that, like it's that easy, but it's not. But you got a window. Angel Reese is not in the playoffs. Caitlyn Clark is not playing in the playoffs. So you got the two biggest draws um, in the W right now that are not in it. So now what you are going to see is who are the real who are the real players that people want to watch. That's what you're gonna find out. We already know that the viewership and all of that type of stuff is gonna dip, but people always want to bring that up. And I'm saying this as a Caitlin Clark fan and an Indiana Fever fan. People always want to bring that up, like they glad that if Caitlin Clark is not playing, the viewership tanks. And I'm like, I don't want to see that shit. I want to see everybody elevated. I want to see everybody get paid. So that doesn't benefit the league because I'm looking at it from the league standpoint. Everybody else looking at it selfishly, like my player is not playing, so I don't give a shit about anything else. And that you don't get that. You get that in the NFL and every other sports league, but it's not helpful. So, but what it will show you is how much coverage is Asia getting? How much coverage does Asia deserve? How much coverage is the New York Liberty getting? Sabrina was on top of the heat when she did the 3-point contest with Steph and all of that type of stuff. That was perfect. That was perfect. I think I think Caitlyn, in my opinion, missed the opportunity when she had a chance to be in the 3-point contest and she passed it up, saying that she wanted to be in the WNBA 3-point contest, and then she get hurt, so she wasn't in that either. So, and then the whole situation with the WNBA All Star game was a joke. It just wasn't fun to watch. They tried to get too cute with it, and at the end of the day, just play ball. Just play ball. That's all you got to do. So, um, I don't think that they got a problem with this work stoppage. They got to figure that out. They got to figure out this work stoppage, and they got to get this damn CBA negotiation down pat, or it's gonna cost them big. Because anybody will tell you. You look at what happened with baseball. It took years for baseball to get back after they had their strike, and folks was like, "I don't give a damn. I don't care about y'all." And then, just like I was saying, it's been about 2 weeks since I did anything on the WNBA. That's because the NFL got started, and you got everybody's competing for your attention. And I guarantee you, there's something out there that people will shift their attention to. So the WNBA's got to be wary of that. Kathy Engelbert is not going anywhere. People that want Kathy Engelbert fired. If you want Kathy Engelbert fired, you got to talk to the owners. She works for the owners. And I don't think a lot of people, a lot of WNBA fans understand how this works. The commissioner is not just doing shit all willy nilly. The commissioner has to get approval from her bosses. Her bosses are the owners. So it ain't like she can just replace all of the refs. She got to get approval to do all of that stuff. She ain't just running rogue. You know what I'm saying? So I just think people get misconstrued on what they think um, people do in the league, in the upper offices and stuff like that. So it is what it is. You're going to learn today, and you're going to learn real quick once this work stoppage hits. Then we're going to see who's doing what. The other problem is unrivaled, is the conflict of interest. And they ain't even really addressed that. So I don't know how that's going to go on because, I think these ladies should be making at least 150 to 200 at the low end. At the low end, if you're a rookie coming in the league and you're not making 200 grand, nah, nah. You living in you living in New York as a rookie making 70, whatever it was, 250,000 over 4 years, whatever that works out to be, and you living in New York or you living in LA. Come on now, that don't even make sense. So it's one of them things, man. One of them things. But they better figure it out. Yeah, Tiff, the whole situation is horrible. I'm just now looking at my chat because I can see it. So, um, but like I said, who the they're gonna figure out where the audience lies. The audience will not lie because even if here's the thing, because everybody got mad, you kept pumping Caitlin Clark games and stuff like that. If people weren't tuning in to Caitlin Clark, they would not have done it because let's keep it a bean. They weren't tuning in to Asia Wilson. They weren't tuning in to Sabrina Ionescu. They weren't tuning in to Angel Reese. So if you spending your money, you gonna spend it where you think the biggest crowd is gonna get, where you can get a return on your investment. That makes sense. Everybody didn't like it just because it wasn't their favorite player. So what's up, James? I see you in there. So they gotta, and I was like, some of the shit they was doing, the players and stuff like it was straight high school. It was straight high school. I did a video the other day, and I was like, the whole situation with the referees is just stupid. The players don't help when they bitching about the crowds and I think it was Maisha Hines Allen. She got into it with some. I don't want to say got into it because it wasn't like a contested thing, but she was talking to some fans that was booing Chris Coughlin because they want him fired in Dallas. And she was like, "You got to support us." And I was like, "How the hell are you gonna tell fans of what they can and can't do?" and they done paid that money to be in them stands. You can't. That's where you got to draw the line because that's out of your control. And for whatever reason, a lot of these female players in the W, they think they can just tell people in the stands what they can and can't do, and that's a battle you're not going to win. That's a battle you're not going to win. Period. So y'all know my little joke from the '80s and war games. The only winning move is not to play because you can't never win that game. So um, everybody worried about what trolls are doing online and stuff like that. Trolls is always y'all want to be equal to the NBA. That's the shit that happens in the NBA. People coming on you online, people cussing out your family, death threats. That's the bullshit that comes when you become mainstream and you become popular. So, hey, it is what it is. You either deal with it or you don't. But this is what you asked for. So, um, this is what comes with the territory. So, but in any case, we'll see what they do. Andrew Reese ain't playing in the playoffs anyways. So, and it's funny. Shout out to my man KSAP because I was on his show one time. This was a while ago. And I told him, I said, I will be surprised. Yeah, I said, it won't surprise me if Angel Reese is not in the league after 4 seasons, after 4 years. It won't surprise me. And the more you tap into, she going to a Met Gala every year. Now she's supposed to be in the movie with Idris Elba and all. Now you get into the other aspect of it, and it's gonna pay more and take your attention away. So that might end up coming to pass, but we'll see. Because everybody, it's one thing when you playing basketball, but the only thing is that everybody talking about is she's such a businesswoman and she went in there. I'm like, absolutely 100%. But in the midst of a season, I don't want to hear shit about the businesses you got. The only thing I want to see is what you bring in your team on the court. That's it. So, and when you're getting drug every damn night, so that's a rough way to go. But we'll see it. We'll see it. Richard Pryor, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your appreciation. So make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. I'll be coming with content almost every day. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm live streaming every day because I find a lot of value in live streams, and I'm trying to get to a point where, um, and yo, send me feedback in the comments. Send me like not just in the chat, but once the video is up and finished uploading, send me feedback in the comments because I'm looking for people. I need people to come on. I want to do like once a week. I want to do a call-in show where you call in, I get you on camera, or I get you on the show live, and then we can talk for like 2, 3 minutes. You give your points just like you would on a radio show, but we just doing it online. I want to do a call-in show. I'm always trying to get ladies on the show. I got 2 sisters. Both of them was better athletes than me. So I'm always interested to hear ladies' perspective, female Eagles fans, all of that type of stuff. So I'm always looking to do that. So I'm trying to find a way to build a call-in show so I can do that once a week. Me and Tone going twice a week now. So things is moving, man. Things are moving. So, but I think I'm at the end of my workout. This was a good one. I'm at 45 minutes now that I'm streaming, and I worked out for probably about a half hour before I got online. So this was a good workout. This was a good workout, man. So I appreciate everybody in the chat. Let's see if I can see everybody. Tiffany, as usual. James Monsanto. Richard Pryor, appreciate you. Who else is in here? Quentin, appreciate you, Q. Uh, Alex, as usual. Who else is in here? Go Birds. Chipped Tooth Eagle. Chipped Tooth Eagle, okay. So appreciate you, Chipped Tooth Eagle. Um, yeah, we had a good little run. Good workout. Key Shorty's in the building. I see you. Carlos, as usual. Yas 22. Albert Jimenez. In the dark with a smile. Mike M. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. So I'm gonna get out of here. Call the wife. Pick up something to eat for breakfast. Um, it is not even 10:30. I made good time. So I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I'll probably be on later on tonight, and we'll talk again. Y'all be safe. Enjoy y'all weekend. Spend time with your family. Love you. Holla at you again.